I've been looking around the Football Manager 2023 database to see if I can find the future of English football, and I've picked out 11 players who I think might be future Three Lions. Let's check them out. Now, we all know the likes of Jude Bellingham and Bukayo Saka are going to be dominating the English scene for years to come in the national team, but I've decided to have a look for players 18 and under who have got a good potential on Football Manager 2023, and we've attempted to pick a formation. So we've got a goalkeeper. We've got Ted Curd, who is currently at the Chelsea under-18s. He's currently 16 years of age. We've got 3 defenders, 5 midfielders and 2 strikers, so we'll go through them all. We've got Rico Lewis, you might have known at Manchester City under-21s. We're going to put him on the right-hand side of our defence. Then in the left-hand side of defence, there's a bit of a push, we've got Callum Doyle at Coventry. Then we've got Blackburn youngster Ashley Phillips in the central part of our 3-man defence. He's in the under-18 side. He's broken through into the first team this season with Blackburn. Then in midfield, you've probably heard of Alex Scott, but he is our defensive midfielder, central midfielder kind of player. He's at Bristol City, and he's definitely one who's touted with great potential for the future. Then we've got Premier League's under-21 Alfie Devine at Tottenham. He used to be at Wigan. He's at Tottenham now, again in the middle of midfield. We've got Jamie Bino Gittens on the left wing. He's at Dortmund. Then we've got Gordon, at Liverpool on the other side, on the right wing. Then up top, we've got the 2-man strike partnership of Jude Soonsup-Bell at Spurs. He's in the under-21s. Used to be at Chelsea and Swindon. And then Dane Scarlett, who's also at Spurs, but currently on loan at Portsmouth. As we go through the game, both of those 2 strikers are 18 years of age. They are the 11 men. You can see if we rank them by transfer value, Rico Lewis is at the top because he's at Man City. But we're going to simulate forward now 15 years and see if any of them have an international career with England. And if you think one of them is going to stand out as the top player out of this bunch and can challenge the likes of Jude Bellingham, Harvey Elliott, Bukayo Saka, all of those great young players who are currently breaking into the England side or have already broken into the England side, let us know in the comments who you think is going to be the best player for England out of this 11. And by the end of the video, we'll see if you are correct. So we've simulated forward 15 years. It's the end of the 2036-37 season. We've ranked all of the players here by international caps. And we'll see who's got them and who hasn't. So we'll start out with Alex Scott, who many probably would have said in the comments was their favourite to get the most caps. He's got 54 caps and he's currently at PSG. He's had a good career in the Premier League and then has moved for £66 million to PSG. So started out at Bristol City, obviously, in the game. Moved for £45.5 million to Southampton. Looks like they got relegated whilst he was there, but he dominated in the Championship and then moved for another £44 million to Leeds and then has secured a move to the French champions PSG for £66 million. If we have a look at what he's won over the years, he's won the Ligue 1 title, he's Coupe de France runner-up, Champions League runner-up, won a few things with England, again another Ligue 1 Uber Eats title there, Nations League winner with England, so there's going to be quite a few of those probably, but he's had quite a storied career, great number of caps. 54 at 33 years of age probably is a bit low for what we were expecting, but it's more than Alfie Devine, who's currently at Juventus. He's got 32 caps, 3 goals. If we look through his career, he looks like a world-class midfielder as well. Midfield is going to be a real strong point for England over the next 10, 15 years. Obviously, he was at Spurs, then secured a loan and then a full-time move to Juventus in the 2030 season, and he's played really well for them ever since. But he's not won anything. Well, he's won a Coppa Italia with Juventus. He's not won a league title yet. Obviously didn't win a league title with Spurs, but did win 2 League Cups, a Europa League and a Europa Conference League as well. So Spurs have actually won things in this simulation. But Alfie Devine hasn't won a league title since going to Juventus, but he's got plenty of caps. And so has Archie Gray, who's got 20 caps now, the 31-year-old. Obviously started the game out at Leeds. Looks like he's had quite a few loan moves, and now he's at Manchester City. So if we look here, he's had a loan spell with Championship sides Blackburn and Middlesbrough before a League One loan with Montpellier. He's broken into the Leeds team by that point, plenty of appearances for Leeds, and then a £65 million move to Manchester City in the 2034-35 campaign, and he's been a part of the City side since, and averaged pretty decently at just around 7. Won plenty of things with Man City, as you'd expect. Champions League winner, League Cup winner, FA Cup winner, Nations League runner-up again. England have been runners-up in the Nations League as well. Got his first cap at age 28, but he's got 20 caps by now at 31, so he's probably still in the England side, so he's going to add to these caps if we kept the simulation running more than 15 years. But he's done well. Who else has done well? With Rico Lewis, he's now at Manchester United. He's got 12 caps to his name. It looks like he didn't break into the Man City side particularly. He got 12 appearances in the first season and then went out for 20 million to Porto. Had 3 good seasons, well, 2.5 good seasons at Porto before a £52 million move back to Manchester, where he went to Manchester United. And he's done okay. He's had plenty of appearances over the years in the Premier League, broken the 7 average rating barrier a few times in most recent seasons, won the League Cup, FA Cup runner-up, Europa League runner-up, Conference League winners, FA Cup runners-up, Europa League, FA Cup winners again. No league titles with Man City, but with Manchester United, sorry. But plenty of runners-up and a couple of European competitions as well to his name. He looks like he's secured his place in the Manchester United side well and truly. Next on the list, we've got Ted Kurd, the goalkeeper who didn't get any full international caps in this simulation. He is 31 years of age now, so he's still got a bit of time on his side. But it looks like the Chelsea youngster never got into the Chelsea side, went to West Ham, only managed 1 appearance for West Ham before going on loan to Stoke, and then a permanent move to Stoke once they got relegated. They back in the Premier League now, though, and he's doing okay for himself. His only competition milestones are relegations by the look of things. So he's never really broken into the England side. Neither has Ash Phillips, but he is a Premier League player. He's at Crystal Palace. He's had 17 under-21 caps. If we look at his career, he played very well for Blackburn for several years in the Championship, then got a £22 million move to Premier League Everton in 2028 before another £14 million moved him on to Crystal Palace. He's been a Premier League player ever since, so he's had nearly a decade in the Premier League, playing 30-plus games every season by the look of things for the last 6 or 7. 7 average rating across most of those years as well. FA Cup runner-up and Community Shield winner with Everton. But it looks like Ash Phillips never got into the England side, and it's going to be the same sort of story for everyone else on this. So we've got Callum Doyle, who's now at Fulham. Looks like he's been around quite a few places. So Manchester City, obviously he was on loan at Coventry when the game started. Girona, Granada, and then a free transfer move to Fulham after never really breaking into the Manchester City side. Got a couple of appearances towards the tail end of his run. But a good stint at Fulham. He had a few Premier League seasons, most of the time spent in the Championship. Been relegated a few times, both from La Liga and the Premier League with Fulham twice. Right, Jamie Bino Gittens, who obviously started the game out at Dortmund. He's now at Argeman. He's never got a full international cap, 25 under-21 caps. So the Borussia Dortmund man had a decent spell with the side, was playing plenty of games, double digits most seasons, before a £10 million move to the Premier League with Wolves in the 2032-33 season. And then he's gone on loan to Luton and then moved on a free to the UAE to Argeman after a season with Luton in the Championship. So his career's kind of not developed as you would have hoped. He's an experienced winger, but he's not made it into the England setup properly. Kay Jordan never even got under 21 caps, so he's now at Swindon. His career has not developed. Plenty of frees as well there for League Two sides. Never really broke into the Liverpool side. Got 1 appearance there. A loan season in the Eredivisie with Vitesse, which was pretty decent, but never really materialised into any other opportunities. Went on a free transfer to Doncaster, Gillingham and Cambridge and never appeared for any of them in League Two. Finally got his break in National League with Boreham Wood for 45 appearances, and now he's settled in League Two with Burton, Exeter and Swindon. He is the epitome of a journeyman. I'm guessing he's not won anything because he's not played any games until really late on in his career. Next up, Jude Soonsup-Bell, 2 under-21 caps. He's now in the UAE as well with Al Jazeera. But it looks like he's had a good stint at Brighton throughout his career. So the former Tottenham man did play quite a few. Well, I say he's got double digits in a couple of seasons for Spurs. £3 million move to Southampton, who then got relegated, and he played well for them in the Championship. But that secured him a move to Brighton back in the Premier League, and he's done well for Brighton. He's pipped over the 7 average rating on quite a few occasions after that £16 million move to Brighton. But then he's moved to the UAE for £12.25 million. Runners-up in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup with Brighton. And with Spurs, got a League Cup runners-up medal as well, but got relegated with Southampton. And final on the list is Dane Scarlett. He is now at Sheffield United, but he also hasn't had a full England international cap. The Spurs man was on loan with Portsmouth as the season began. He had as the game began, and then another loan spell with Sunderland in the Championship. Did decent. Got a move to Bournemouth, still in the Premier League. Nearly £6 million there. A loan move to Forest in the Premier League. So he's still a Premier League player for most of his career. Nearly £4 million move to Wolves. Then a loan move for Swansea that was made permanent when they'd got relegated. And he's just in the last season moved to fellow Championship side Sheffield United. Been relegated a few times from the Premier League. Got himself a Europa League winners medal, but I don't think he played that much part of the side. So you can see Alex Scott is one of the top players for England. Harvey Elliott's still there. Bukayo Saka's still there. Charlie Ward. These look like new gens. So Emmanuel Musa, Mark Bryan and Charlie Ward are new gens, I believe. If we have a look at the best 11 over the course of the save, none of our players feature in the 11, unfortunately. There's a couple who we may have called out, who we haven't called out. So if we have a look at the goalkeeper here on the bench, Connor Boyce-Clark, who's now at Southampton, was Reading, who's on loan a couple of times as well, and then went to Sheffield United and Southampton. He's had 14 international caps. He's not someone who we pulled out at the beginning who could have a good season here. I think he was 19 when the save started. But yeah, well, that's the England side over the 15-year simulation. Many familiar names are still, in the England side. This is the most recent side. You can see the likes of Archie Gray, Alex Scott were in there. If we go back and have a quick look, Archie Gray, Alex Scott in the England side still. Plenty of Phil Foden still in the England side. Mark Gould, yeah, he's still there. Crystal Palace man, obviously. So these players are obviously a little bit older than the players we've picked out on this list. And if we simulated another 5 seasons, maybe they would have got a few more caps as well. But it looks like Alex Scott is the one from this list who has broken out properly for England. And I think you should check out this video as well, because we've been joined by Kempy on the channel, and he's got a great tactic for you to watch right now.